Hey everybody, thanks for being here. Apologies for a slightly late start this Monday. Um, I forgot to queue up the stream on the archive channel, so I had to go quickly, um, set that up so we can be joined by our friends over there. I have to mute a few more things. Anyway, today is an exciting day. I'm glad we can have this stream, and first I wanted to just say thank you to everybody who has subscribed. We've gained a lot of subscribers in the last couple days. Like it was sometime last week, I think it was Wednesday, we hit 300 subscribers, and then by the end of the week, we're now at 570, which is insane to me that it's growing that fast. So thank you to everyone who has subscribed. As I mentioned at the beginning, I've been talking about giveaways at 500 subscriber mark. So we got that to do today. But if this is your first time here, you see the comments on the side. If you want to participate in the comments, please jump over to the OTR Gold channel, and then you can participate in the comments. I love chatting with you throughout these streams. Um, so anyway, to this giveaway, since we hit 500, I went to I use Bing. Bing's my search engine because I love the daily photo. I went and I said, "Give me a random number," because I wanted to then go look at the subscribers and pick the random subscriber that would win their choice of the green or cream colored vintage style Bluetooth radio. And it came back. At first, I typed in, I put an extra zero in it, so it gave me the random number was like 1,074, something like that. Well, I don't have that many subscribers, so I went back and I corrected it, and then the random number it gave me. Sorry for the focus issues. I don't know what's happening right now. The random number it gave me was the number 42. So I haven't read A Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, but I know that that number is significant in that story, and that is the number that people throw out when they try to answer unanswerable questions. So it stood out to me as being funny that the random number it picked was 42. So then I looked up the 42nd subscriber in the list of subscribers that YouTube shows me, and that is Cindy B. So Cindy, if you're listening today, congratulations, you have won um, your choice of these two radios. You let me know which one, I'll send it to you. Um, you can reach out at so I've thought through this a little bit. I said, you know, how do I know that because I need a mailing address is what I need. And so instead of putting that on, the public comments, you can email me at contact@otrgold.com, and then I'll just give you a like a secret word or something you can post in the comments. It's gonna be some random word that I just need to see from your YouTube account. So I'll reply to whatever the email is with this word when I see Cindy B. Um, publish that or post that in the comments. I'll know it's you, and I can send you the information. Uh, I'll give you till the end of the week. So hopefully you're either on the stream today or watch the replay of this. Please reach out by the end of the week. Otherwise, I'll pick another random number and we'll just keep going till someone responds. But thank you all for being here. Again, whichever one Cindy picks, we're gonna have the other one available at 1,000. And then to make this a little bit easier, we're gonna do it on the first stream that happens after we hit 1,000 subscribers. I'll just I'll just say, like, on the stream, a specific word to put in the comments, and then I'll draw from random from the comments. So those of you that tune in regularly, that are here all the time, there'll be like a 24-hour window. So if you watch it, you can post in the comment, and then I can use this little random comment selector that'll pull it up, and so everyone will be able to participate in that one. But anyway, thank you very much. It's been awesome to see the growth, and it's just fun seeing this community grow. So I want to have a couple quick shout outs here from people. So over it tuning in from Dallas. Thank you very much. Joshua with the typical weather update. 11:07. It was warm in Alabama. Now, if Joshua starts solving crimes over in his part of the world, that'll be even funnier. Life with Roscoe from Pennsylvania. Thomas from the UK. Thank you, Thomas, for being here. Here it says, "Oh dear God, don't forget us little people when you have over 1 million subscribers." Well, if and when that day comes, I will probably die from shock, but it won't be from anything that I've done. It's the support of this community. So let's reach that together. That would be awesome. Um, and then let's work on like the Disneyland of old time radio or something, like some destination place that people just need to go. Um, there you go. When I hit when I hit 1 million subscribers, give one vintage style Bluetooth radio to everyone. It's a million vintage radios. I don't know. We'll see. We'll have to see how the AdSense is working at that point. If there's money in the AdSense budget, sure. Great. Sam, Monday 5:09. It was gray in Stockport. We were working the afternoon watch out of Dragnet detail. The afternoon watch out of Dragnet detail. Nice. These are good. Okay. So today we're going to be listening to the 17th episode of Dragnet. Again, for those that are new, we hear every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific, and we are listening to every episode of Dragnet in sequence until we listen to all 310 episodes currently available. I say currently available, not that they're going to create more Dragnet episodes with Jack Webb, but there are some, like the very first known recording, the first episode that there aren't any recordings of. So I have my fingers crossed that at some point someone's going to like go through stuff that their grandparents left behind and they're going to find a pristine record or tape of that episode, and then we'll all be able to listen to it at that point. But for now, it is lost to history, and I only have access to 310 of them. Cool. So again, this is the 17th episode. The title is Brickbat Slayer. It was originally aired on Saturday, September 24th, 1949. And since the last broadcast of Dragnet, the rock guitarist for Kansas, they sang "Carry On My Wayward Son" and "Dust in the Wind." The guitarist Carrie Livgren was born in, drumroll, Topeka, Kansas. So John W. Henry, American businessman and sports executive, owner of the Boston Red Sox, Liverpool Football Club, the Boston Globe, and other things, was born in Quincy, Illinois. September 21st, the Chinese communist leaders proclaimed the People's Republic of China. September 22nd, 1949, WFMY TV in Greensboro, High Point, North Carolina, first broadcast. On September 23rd, U.S. President Harry Truman announced evidence of USSR's first nuclear detonation. And I thought I posted it. Oh, there it is. September 23rd, American Grammy and Academy Award-winning singer-songwriter and rock musician known as The Boss was born in Long Branch, New Jersey. Now, pop quiz, who is The Boss? This should be an easy one, but I'll let you answer that one in the comments. And I will highlight the first one to properly identify The Boss. But he was born the day before this episode aired in 1949. That would have been a Friday. This is an episode I haven't listened to ahead of time, so we're going to discover the plot all together. I'm sure some of you have heard it before, but I haven't. So we'll get started. Let me share out my screen, and we'll begin. I'm seeing no answers to my pop quiz question yet. If I'll give you guys 3 more minutes, and then I'll say it at 20 after. I'll post in there. Here we go. Hello and welcome to Dragnet from otrgold.com. This episode will begin after a brief message from our sponsors.
Here's another in NBC's great parade of new shows.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. Only the names have been changed to protect the innocent.
NBC brings you Dragnet. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to homicide. A mad killer is loose in the city. In every instance, he leaves the murder weapon behind. There are no fingerprints, no clues to the killer's identity. Your job, get him.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime, investigated and solved by the men who unrelentingly stand watch on the security of your home, your family, and your life. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Tuesday, June 3rd. It was warm in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of homicide. My partner's Ben Romero. The boss is Ed Backstrand, chief of detectives. My name's Friday. I was off duty reporting back in on an emergency call. It was 3:57 a.m. when I got to the basement of the city hall, the carpool.
Let's go, Friday. Sorry to call you back in. Couldn't be helped. All right, Ben.
Okay, Skipper.
What's up, Ed?
Double murder.
When?
I don't know. Found out about it 40 minutes ago.
Got any ideas?
Roughly same M.O.
Was that 6413 Norwich, Skipper?
No, 6430.
What do you mean, the same M.O.?
The same guy. Brickbat killer.
How many does this make?
Counting tonight, 4.
We got anything at all?
Smudged fingerprint we can't even classify.
Sounds like a smart operator.
We gotta get him. If we have to shake down the city from one end to the other.
Big job, Skipper.
Big killer.
At 4:26 a.m., we pulled up in front of 6430 Norwich Drive, a small group of bungalow apartments facing on an oval-shaped garden court. 2 uniformed officers were stationed at the door to the apartment.
Hiya, Chief.
Hiya, fellas.
We went inside. Wellberg from Homicide was waiting for us.
This way. In here.
Well, there they are.
Yeah. Mother, daughter. Joe, on the floor beside the bed.
Yeah, a red brick.
Miss Hafters, we know how you must feel about all this, but would you please try to answer a few more questions for us?
Yes. All right. Poor Margaret.
Ms. Hafters, how long had you known Mrs. Diaz and her daughter?
9 years. This November they moved next door. I remember it so well. We got along right from the start.
And as far as you know, the only close friends the mother and daughter had live right here in the apartment court?
Yes. Margaret was a pretty girl, but she was no chaser, no boyfriends. Very close to her mother. The 2 of them very close.
Did they keep any amount of valuables in the apartment? Money, jewelry, things like that?
Oh, no. Mrs. Diaz and Margaret didn't have much, you know. Very modest income. They both worked.
And you can think of no good reason.
Oh, no. Oh, poor Margaret. Poor Mrs. Diaz. Lying in there. Shock. It's a terrible shock.
Wellberg,
Yes, Sergeant.
would you show Ms. Hafters back to her apartment?
Sure, Sergeant. Thank you, Miss Hafters. We appreciate it.
Yes, thank you. Poor Margaret. Poor Mrs. Diaz.
Well, Joe?
Let's check with Ed. He's back in the bedroom.
You get anything from the neighbors?
The usual, Ed. No jealous boyfriends, ex-husbands, nothing like that.
Boys find any evidence yet, Skipper?
I'm still working on it.
You got any theories?
Well, we know the killings were all done by the same guy.
Mm-hmm.
Cuts the same pattern out of the window screen. Cuts the same pattern with a glass cutter out of the window. Reaches in and flips the locks.
All right, where's that leave us?
And before he gets inside, he makes sure there are only women in the house. That means he probably watches the house for a few days.
Yeah.
Once he gets inside, he wants only one thing, to kill. He's never taken any valuables. As far as we can tell, he's never searched for any. What kind of a man works like that?
I think the guy's kill crazy.
Hey, fellas,
Yes, Donner?
here's a break. 2 fair prints, 1 thumb, 1 forefinger.
What'd you get, Pete?
Only got 9 points. Not enough to go into court, but enough to make him. We'll know him when we get him.
Yeah.
Found the prints on the lens of the old lady's eyeglasses. Probably knocked him off the night table when he went after her.
And when he was done, he put him back on the table.
Yeah. Had blood on his hands, see?
Yeah.
That's funny, isn't it? Why would he go to the trouble of picking up the woman's glasses after he killed her?
We'll ask him when we find him.
All right, Ben. Joe, might have something for you.
We can use it, Lee.
Hold it just a minute.
Yeah.
Crime Lab, Jones. Yeah. Yeah, all right. I'll tell him. Right, Ed. Backstrand. If you're through checking the victim's clothes by 8 o'clock, you can knock off for sleep until noon.
What if we're not through?
Take it up with the chaplain. Here's what I wanted to show you. Over here. A couple of casts.
Bare footprint.
That's right.
Those from the Diaz place?
Found them outside the dining room window in the flower bed. Take a look.
Mm-hmm. Good cast. Size 9.
10.
Missing toe there, huh?
Left foot, first toe.
That's lucky.
Well, then the guy took his shoes off before he went in that house.
That's the way it looks.
You leave any other prints, Lee?
3 with the shoes on. Here they are. Here.
Yeah. How would you say the guy is built, Lee?
Oh, from the impression, pretty heavy man. There's no full length of stride, or I might give you an idea of his height.
How about the bricks, Lee?
Here they are, all 3 of them. Used this one in the first murder, this one in the second, this one last night.
Leaves them around like calling cards, and there's no way to check them.
You'll never get a fingerprint off a common red brick like this, Ben. Surface is too rough.
Well, we got an idea of his weight. We know that the first toe's missing from his left foot. That's something.
The one we had yesterday. We can check that missing toe in the amputation file, Joe.
Yeah. Well, we better get back. Pete ought to have those prints ready, too. Thanks a lot, Lee.
Okay, fellas. Say, they post the bodies yet?
Yeah, they're doing it now. Same as the first 2.
The brain?
Concussion, hemorrhage. They didn't have a chance.
Hold it a minute. Crime Lab Jones. Sure, just a minute. Either one of you fellas.
I'll get it, Joe.
Okay.
Yeah, Romero. Yeah. Good, we'll be right over. They got a make on those 2 fingerprints.
Okay, Joe. Single print file. Made him on the index finger.
Let me see, Pete. Take a look, Ben.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like a killer, does he, Joe? Kind of nice looking.
That's right, Pete. They said the same thing about John Dillinger. The name at the top of the make sheet read Carlos Richard Monterey, male, Caucasian, age 19, height 5 feet 11 inches, weight 165 pounds, dark brown hair, dark brown eyes. Last known address, 1663 Naples Street, Los Angeles. Previous arrests, 1, auto theft, February 8th, 1936. That was all. Ben and I had been expecting more. The information on the mama sheet for Monterey was 13 years old. So was the picture. So was the description. So was the address. In 13 years, a man can change in 1,000 ways. So can his habits, his appearance, his address. In 13 years, everything can change except 2 things. A man's fingerprints and a physical deformity. Missing toe on left foot. Carlos Richard Monterey.
Here it is, Joe. 1663 Naples.
Yeah, come on.
Somebody's coming.
Mm-hmm.
Yes? What is it?
We're police officers. We'd like to ask you a few questions.
Oh, yes. Would you like to come in?
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes?
Would you mind telling us your name?
Monterrey. Isabel Monterrey. What is it you want?
You're married?
Yes. My husband is Francisco Monterrey. Would you explain why you are here?
We thought you might be able to help us. We're looking for a man named Carlos Monterrey.
I don't understand you.
We're looking for a man. We'd like to talk to him. Do you know where he is?
Yes. Carlos is dead 7 years ago. He's dead, my husband told me.
And does your husband know Carlos, or did he know him?
He was his brother.
What about your husband's parents, Miss Monterey? Where are they?
They're both dead. Some time now.
Have you ever met Carlos?
No, never. I have only heard of him.
What have you heard of him, Miss Monterey?
Do not ask me.
This is important, very important.
Francisco would not like it if I told you.
It's important, Miss Monterey, believe us.
Carlos, he's sick. His mind. For 8 years, Francisco has not seen him, not heard from him. He thinks he's dead.
But he only thinks so, Miss Monterey. No one's told him his brother's dead. He just thinks so.
What else is there to think?
Where's your husband now?
At his work, the store, Rivera Street near Main, grocery, Monterrey Cartwright grocery.
Here's your change. Thank you, Mrs. Myers. Now, look, officers, you know how it is. You don't like to let these things get out. That's why I trust you.
You can trust us, Mr. Monterey. We just want to check on a few things.
Oh, fine. Always glad to help out if I can.
Well, can you tell us if your brother was ever in a mental institution in his life?
Oh, I know there was nothing wrong. 1923. Got a little bad, so Mom and Dad had to put him away for a while, just till he calmed down. I remember the day. Sometimes, dumb, stupid kid, what do he know? Standing there by himself in the train, crying. The public nurse, stupid way he cried. What do you do? I cried, too. I was only 10, Sergeant. I saw him go. He was alone.
Later on, Mr. Monterey, your brother was released from the state institution.
Yeah, he was 16. And then he started running around, playing tough, carried a gun, lived by himself. He never came around. He dropped from sight about 1938.
You haven't heard from him since then?
Nothing. Never seen him.
Do you know of anybody who might have seen him?
Oh, there was a girl he had. Anita something. On Soteo Street. Anita Martin, yeah, that's it. Soteo Street. Maybe she's seen him. Ask her. Maybe she's seen him.
Carlos Monterrey? Not in a year. Last March he was in. When I was working at the Peacock, down on South Main. He came in, we talked for a while. That was all.
And you haven't seen Carlos for the past 2 months or so?
I tell you, no.
Has he written to you? Has he phoned you?
Once, 3 weeks ago, he phoned. Here. He left a message with my girlfriend. But he didn't call back again. Now, that's it. That's all I know.
Thank you, Miss Martin. Here's our card. If he does call, well, you'll let us know.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
You liked Carlos, is that it, Anita?
Like him? No, I didn't like him. He was funny. But he was nice. You know, I pitied him.
Why did you pity him, Miss Martin?
Well, he was a good fellow who was strange. He could smile, you know. He had a nice smile, but you could tell he was never laughing. There was something in his mind. Something... Oh, I don't know.
At least a year, closer to 2, I haven't seen Carlos. No letters, not a card, nothing. He was in the East the last time I heard.
When was that?
A year ago, January, I was in here. He sent me a calendar. Sometimes he could get along fine, very well. Other times, terrible. He couldn't keep him down.
How'd he manage to stay out of jail that way, Vicente?
I don't know. Sometimes he should have been in jail 5 times over.
And you say you don't know of anybody who might have a recent picture of Carlos, a snapshot?
No. No one I can think of.
Okay, Vincenti, here's our card. If you do think of somebody, let us know, will you? It'll help.
Sure, glad to. If I hear of anybody. What kind of a day is it outside? Hot?
Hot. By 5 o'clock that afternoon, Ben and I were certain of one thing. Carlos Monterrey was in the city of Los Angeles, somewhere. We drove back to the office and told Ed Backstrand about our interviews with Monterrey's relatives and his friends. Inquiries and requests for further identification and information on him were immediately relayed to the state mental institutions. The 13-year-old picture of Monterey taken from the files was copied and distributed with a note of caution as to the age of the photograph. An APB was sent out. Stakeouts were placed at the home of Monterey's brother, at the brother's store, and at the apartment of Anita Martin. A special detail of 300 men was ordered to join the Dragnet already in operation. The details at the airport and the bus terminals were alerted, as well as the details at the Union Depot and the main post office. By 6 o'clock that night, almost 1,000 men were actively working at the job of tracking down Carlos Monterey. At 6:30 p.m., Ben and I drew a 4-hour relief period. We drove out to Ben's place, and his wife fixed us some dinner. At 10:30 that night, we reported into the office, picked up Ed Backstrand, and we drove out to join the manhunt.
Unit 32R on the corner of South Flower and Loomis, the 390W, KMA 367. Unit 12A, code 1. 66A at 864 Wall Street. See the man about a 507, KMA 367. Unit 42, 5430 East Grand, Apartment King, 311, KMA 367.
We cruised with the Dragnet operation until 5 o'clock that morning. Ben and I took turns driving. Actually, the tremendous job of scouring 500 square miles of city for one man was only beginning. Unless there was an unexpected break, the search for Carlos Monterey could wear on for weeks. It did. Night after night, the manhunt went on, and day after day. There was no break. 16 days later, on a Sunday night, I went to bed early. I read a while, and then I turned off the lamp and went to sleep. Hello? Friday talking.
Sorry, Joe. Get in here as fast as you can.
What's the matter?
That girl Monterey knew, the one you talked to,
Yeah?
she left her apartment, went to her girlfriend's.
Yeah?
She's dead.
There it is. Ordinary red brick. Found it by the body.
How long's she been dead, Skipper?
Well, she was seen alive about an hour and a half ago.
Got 3 bare footprints, good length of stride. Found them down in the lot beside the house.
What do they look like?
Same guy. First toe missing from the left foot. The same weight impression. Should be about 5'11". That checks out with what you got, doesn't it?
All right, so it's the same guy.
What about those shoes we found, Lee?
Yeah, they correspond. They were impregnated with foreign matter.
What'd you find?
Particles of lettuce leaf, dry onion skin, traces of red cabbage.
Maybe a vegetable counter.
Maybe.
What about the city wholesale market down on Front Street?
What about any market in Los Angeles?
No, Lee, that wholesale market is big enough to hide anybody. Hundreds of transients work in there. Some of them even sleep there. For a guy like Monterey, it'd be perfect.
That's a fair guess. Check it when it opens.
They open at 2 a.m.
2:30 now.
All right, get back to the office and pick up as many extra men as you need. Get down there right away.
Okay, Ed.
Now, you know he's a rough one, so watch it.
On Monday, June 23rd, at 2 minutes past 3 a.m., we pulled up at the city wholesale produce market. With the exception of 54 police officers in plain clothes who mingled with the buyers and sellers, business went along as usual. The market itself covered almost 3 square blocks in the lower part of the downtown area. It was divided off into hundreds of individual stalls by flimsy wooden partitions. To make the search even tougher, the place was crowded. For the first 45 minutes, we had the men circulate at random through the crowd on the chance that one of them might spot Carlos Monterey from the 13-year-old picture. It didn't happen. After that, we started a systematic canvass. We talked to the customers, we talked to the managers of the different booths, we gave them Monterey's description, we showed them his picture. Nobody recognized him. We checked the employment records one by one. Not a sign.
Sorry, Sergeant. I'd like to help. I've never seen the guy.
Okay, Mr. Snyder, thank you.
We sure picked the sweet jobs, don't we?
Oh, yeah, we could spend a year at this.
Oh, Sergeant Friday.
Yeah, Kamansky. Did you find something?
Guy at the booth over there against the far wall. Thinks he might have hired Monterey a couple of days ago.
Come on, Ben. Where?
Over there, Sergeant.
You showing Monterey's picture?
Yeah, he thinks it might be him. Mr. Fresnetti, this is Sergeant Romero, Sergeant Friday.
Yes, I told your boy, Sergeant. This fellow Carlos, I hired him to help last Thursday. Big rush for me now, so I hired him.
You sure he's the man?
In the picture? I think so. A little older, maybe. Oh, but I know faces. He's the man. You're looking for him?
You say you hired this man last Thursday?
That's right. It's a big rush for me now in the morning. I hired him Thursday. He worked Thursday, Friday, Saturday. But he don't show up this morning, so I got no use. Too many men to pick from. He don't show up, I let him go.
What kind of work did he do for you?
Same as he did for Schiller down there. Heavy work. Moving the stores, cleaning up.
What kind of produce does Schiller handle, Mr. Franzenetti?
Fancy, very fancy vegetables. Choice. New potatoes, expensive red onions. Schiller sells to the big hotels.
Does Schiller handle brown onions, Mr. Franzenetti?
Oh, only the best. Big dealer that Schiller sells it to the big hotels.
How long has this Carlos been working around the market?
Oh, I don't know. Is it just like the rest? First he worked for me, then Largo Massini, then Schiller. Hey, why are you looking so hard for him? He stole something?
He murdered somebody.
Him? Mamma mia, murder.
Do you have any idea where Carlos lives?
Oh, me? No. And if he comes back here, I tell him to get out. I got nothing to do with this trouble.
No, you'll tell him nothing, Mr. Franzenetti. Here's our card. If you see Monterey again, call us. Say nothing to him.
Oh, sure. I remember.
Joe, call the chief at the office, will you? Message just came in.
Thanks, Al. Come on, Ben.
Yeah, there's a phone booth. See?
No, I don't. Where?
Straight ahead, little to the left.
Oh, yeah. You got a nickel?
Let's see. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there you are.
Thanks. I'll see what Ed wants.
City Hall,
2511.
2511.
Chief of Detectives Office, Hannon.
Hi, Mike. Ed there?
Ed, take it on extension 2, will you? Backstrand talking.
Friday, Ed.
Move fast on this one, Joe.
What's up?
Main post office. Carlos Monterey picked up a letter there less than 5 minutes ago.
Come on, Ben. There's Ed over there with Wellberg.
Yeah. Traffic short jammed up around here.
Hi, Ed.
Friday, Romero, you all set, Wellberg?
All set, Chief. Spring Street to San Pedro. Sunset the 1st. Got it covered.
Good.
What's the story?
Post office detail tipped us off. 5 minutes after 8, a man answering Carlos Monterey's description picked up a letter at the general delivery window. That was 16 minutes ago.
Who spotted him?
Sam Lane. Got a look at him just as he was leaving the window. Called to him to stop, but Monterey ran. Lane called me, and we threw a net over the area for 6 blocks around.
And Monterey's still somewhere inside this area?
I don't know how he could have gotten out.
What's next?
Well, I'll give him an hour to break for it. After that, we start a house-to-house search of the whole area. Stop all pedestrian and vehicular traffic for identification.
You're going to jam up the depot traffic.
That's cheaper than murder, Romero. Get going.
The first hour we counted off in 5-minute segments. Like Backstrand, we felt close enough to Monterey to touch him. But he still wasn't there. The north and south ends of the blockade started to move in, slowly. Searching every store, every house, every conceivable place where a man might hide out. In the meantime, Ben and I worked the Spring Street side of the blockade, watching the faces of the pedestrians as they came through one by one, examining all vehicles and their drivers. The morning wore on, the sun came out, and it started to get warm. By 11 o'clock that morning, Monterey still had not been found. The temperature was 93 in Los Angeles. It was still climbing. The search went on. At 10 minutes past 2 p.m., Backstrand made the rounds.
How's it look, Skipper?
Not good. Going slow.
How much longer you figure?
I don't know. It'll go to after dark, that's sure. District down here is like a rat's nest.
Yeah. Nothing?
Nothing. But he's someplace inside this blockade. He's got to be.
Any chance of getting relief for the men in our squad? Some of them been working straight through since yesterday.
I'll see. Check with me around 5 this afternoon.
Thank you, Skipper.
Keep a sharp lookout. One slip. That's all it takes.
The search went on. At 3 o'clock that afternoon, the temperature was 95. We sweltered and we waited. At 3:45, Backstrand sent a squad of men into the Union Depot to search it from top to bottom. There was one false alarm when one of the men thought he saw Monterey slipping out a side door into a taxi. He turned out to be a train conductor. At 25 minutes past 4, Backstrand passed along the order to our detail to start moving in, house by house. It was a tedious job, and it went slow. The men were tired. At 5:30, the relief squad showed up. Ben and I stayed on. After another 2 hours of house-to-house searching, the trap was narrowed down to a 3-square-block area, a single block wide and 3 blocks long. It started to get dark. Backstrand ordered out batteries of floodlights. By 8 p.m., the cordon closed in around the last 2 square blocks.
Lines are all set, Skipper. Ready to move.
Good.
What do you think?
We'll know pretty soon, one way or the other.
Frank, keep that traffic moving.
All right, you two, get going.
See you later, Skipper. Joe, let's take a look in here.
Okay.
Sure is an old building.
Yeah. Where'd Kamansky go?
Oh, no, he's here a minute ago. Oh, wait, there's his flashlight. Down the end of the corridor there. He's signaling.
Yeah, come on. Kamansky?
Yeah. Down below, Sergeant, in the basement. Come on.
Monterey?
He's been there, I think. Here, this way.
Where?
Over here. Now watch your step. The light's bad. Here he is. Says he's the janitor.
Oh, my head.
He's been slugged.
All right, come on. How'd it happen? Can you tell us?
Yeah, a big man hit me. I came down to empty the baskets. He hit me and ran. Ran over to the new building.
The new building? Is that the one next door?
Yeah, just a few minutes ago.
Nobody's come out of this building for the past half hour. Every door in the place is guarded.
No, not the doors. He went through the tunnel. I saw him. Over there's the tunnel.
I'll take a look, Joe.
Yeah, the tunnel connects the two basements. Same company, old building, new building. The tunnel connects the basements.
Joe, come on.
Yeah. Kamansky, get out to Backstrand. Tell him what's happened.
Right, Sergeant.
And call an ambulance.
Right.
All right, Ben. Through the tunnel.
Watch where you're going. The light's bad.
Yeah, it is. That a door up ahead there?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, let's go.
Good. There's a stairway. Come on. Watch the doors.
Joe, the elevators. They're both on the third floor.
Let's head for the stairs. Ben, come on.
One more floor.
Yeah, right. Come on, hurry.
Yeah.
Look, top of the stairs.
There he goes.
All right, hold it, you.
Stuck in the elevator. Joe, he's going down.
Well, we'll never make it on the stairs.
Joe, look. This other elevator. The control lever's bent.
Let's try it anyway.
Yeah.
All right, kick the control lever. Kick it, Ben.
That's good.
All right, Ben, knock the lever back. Come on, quick.
Yep.
What's the matter?
Joe, it's jammed. We're going past.
All right, let's kick it. Here. There, that does it. Can you reach the door control?
Wait just a minute. I'll see. Yeah.
Okay. Well, he's still in the building.
Both elevators are here now.
Yeah. Down the hall, Ben. The office on the left, I think.
Yeah. Okay, here we are.
All right, keep clear of the door. All right, Monterey, put on that gun and come on out.
I'll kill you! I'll kill all of you! All of you!
Okay, Joe, let's take it.
Watch it, Ben. He's throwing everything he can get his hands on.
I'll kill you! Come on! Come on! I'll kill you! Get away! Come on, you!
All right, Monterey.
Come on, you.
Everywhere you! Kill you!
Okay, Ben, take him.
Nice looking guy. Clean cut.
Yeah.
Doesn't figure, does it?
What's that?
My wife would say he doesn't look like a killer, does he?
What's a killer supposed to look like?
The story you have just heard is true. Only the names were changed to protect the innocent.
Carlos Monterey was examined by 5 different psychiatrists appointed by the Superior Court and was found to be sane. He was tried and convicted of murder in the first degree. He was executed in the lethal gas chamber at the state penitentiary. You have just heard the 17th in a new series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice for Dragnet comes from the office of W.A. Wharton, Acting Chief of Police, Los Angeles Police Department.
Tonight's program is dedicated to motorcycle patrolman John Kramer of the El Paso, Texas Sheriff's Department, who on the afternoon of April 26, 1940, gave his life so that yours might be more secure.
Dragnet came to you from Los Angeles. Your tune for the stars on NBC.
There, we always got to wait till the final NBC chime. They don't do it every time. I think there's a live stream a little bit ago where they didn't do it. I just kept waiting for it to play. There was someone was talking about, so Joshua added a comment that Friday's closing lines are his favorite. Now he says, what's a killer supposed to look like or something. he always says some nice send off. One of my favorite parts of the whole thing. I mean, there's two. I've been meaning to share this little snippet. So I mentioned this book before, but there's a paper. I have a hardcover version of this book. It's called Old Time Radio. No, it's called On the Air, the Encyclopedia of Old Time Radio. You can find old copies of it online, but the one that I was using, which I thought I had it around here, but I don't have it within arm's reach, so I can't go show you right now. It is, I bought it. It was already well loved, we'll say. But since I've been using it, the spine like has completely broken, and so the cover just flaps on and off. So I also picked up the Kindle version of the book, and it's written by a guy named John Dunning, who is like a historian of old time radio. So he gives little bios of each show, and he does a really good job. And I've been reading through the one on Dragnet, and there was something in here that I read. It made me laugh, and then I wanted to share it with all of you. So he's talking about the theme song, the 4-note theme song, which is one of the two favorite parts of the show, and I'll tell you the other one after. But when speaking of the theme song, he says, the show opened with a startling burst of music, 4 stinging notes that became immediately celebrated, indelibly linked through the decades with Jack Webb, Dragnet, and the composer. This is the part that made me laugh. Schoolboys hummed it in the backlots when bullies were pummeled. That dum-de-dum-dum, an unstated symbol of justice and retribution that extended beyond the reaches of the show itself. So that vision just appeared in my mind of a bully getting his comeuppance, and then kids on the sidelines singing or humming the Dragnet tune made me laugh. Don't bully kids. Okay, that's the moral of the story. And then I found that true as well. Like when people don't know, or like when they ask me, my interests and what I'm doing, and I tell them about old time radio, it kind of starts with like a blank stare. Like, I don't know what that is. And then I explain it's audio dramas. They were popular, before TV was mainstream. And they're still kind of like, okay. And then I say like Dragnet, Gunsmoke. And normally even if they haven't heard Dragnet or listened to an episode of it, they've at least heard the show. And then if they haven't heard that, you can just sing the 4 notes, and then somebody's like, "Oh yeah, I've heard that." Some people say, anyway. So it's like what Dunning said about the theme song extending beyond, like growing beyond the show. I found to be true in my personal life. Gonna highlight a few of these comments real quick. Joshua says, we should reach out to Dunning and interview him on the stream. Unfortunately, as Life with Roscoe pointed out, he passed away recently. There was a few things. So like if you look at the Old Time Radio archive channel, which is the first one I created, I was uploading videos like 7 years ago on this stuff. I've been interested in it since I was a kid, but then really kind of got into trying to create content or curate content for people online, because I found that a lot of other channels that were doing it just were kind of shotgunning the whole thing, putting random episodes in different orders, and I wanted to listen to it sequentially so I could hear how the show developed. And just recently, I wanted to get back in because I upload a bunch of content, and then it just kind of stayed there and grew on YouTube, but I haven't been super active. But then I wanted to come back and do like focus on building community around this content. And then one thing I want to do too is interview people that were involved in it. And now, given the amount of time that has passed, a lot of people that have like firsthand experience have passed away. But there's opportunities, I think, to speak with the children of these people that are still around and like hear secondhand their stories. But one person that I just had like this dream about being able to chat with and interview was Angela Lansbury, because she was in her 90s. She was still alive just like a couple years ago, as I started to think like, no, I got to get back. I got to grow a channel that I can reach out to someone like Angela Lansbury and hear and like hear firsthand her experience. One, because she's a legend. She's awesome. I grew up in the 90s, born in the 80s, grew up in the 90s. Um, so that was like the Disney Renaissance. That's what a lot of people refer to it when they came out with some of their most popular um their most popular animated movies, their most successful animated movies. You have like that's when they kind of rebooted the Disney musical and they had The Little Mermaid, Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast. For maybe some of the audience, like you weren't kids when those movies came out, but they like the music is great, the stories were great. Um, so anyway, back to Angela Lansbury. She was in Beauty and the Beast, and as a young kid, you see her in Beauty and the Beast, you recognize her voice. Then a little bit older, my parents used to watch Murder She Wrote, so you saw her on that show. Um, and and then she was in other like Christmas related stuff. I love Christmas. It's one of my favorite holidays. So I just had this connection with Angela Lansbury. Like if I could interview anybody that is alive that starred in some of these shows, like some of her earliest work is in radio. Um, I was holding on to that hope, and then I think when did she pass away? Like last year, 2 years ago. Yeah, I'm gonna look it up real quick. When did she die? 2022, October 11th. That news, I was like, oh man. Yeah, I was so sad. One, because I mean, she lived a long life. I would love to live as long as her, and probably to enjoy life as much as she did. Um, but that window of opportunity is gone now. But I have made contact with somebody whose mother was directly involved, actually starred in and produced a very popular show. I'm gonna keep it secret for now because I want the channel, like she's agreed to speak with me about her mom and her mom's experience, but I want this channel to be a little bit bigger because I think it'll be something awesome, and I want to make sure, like, if she's given me her time, I want to help her reach an audience. Because one of the reasons she's interested in talking about it is because she wants to keep that memory of her mother alive and kind of in the public consciousness. So there is someone I have a connection to that I want to introduce to or not. I wouldn't introduce them, but I want to just give her the opportunity to speak about it, and I want to learn about it. But uh yeah, so anyway, that was kind of rambling, but let me go back. I'm as I do these, I'm not really paying attention to the comments, so I'm going to go back here and see if I've missed anything relevant. Life with Roscoe says Peggy Weber is still alive at 98. I don't know who Peggy Weber is, at least by her name. I could probably look her up and maybe recognize some of her work. But if she's involved in old time radio and wants to chat and someone has a connection, please put us in touch. I would love to like invite her on and we could like crowdsource questions to ask this woman. Joshua said podcast before podcasts. Yeah, I hadn't really thought about doing old time radio podcasts until after I was already doing stuff on YouTube. But then once that idea came, it's like, well, no, duh. Yeah, this is like an audio only drama, and podcasts are the modern day equivalent of it means the perfect audio only format. It lets you binge it too. So if you're interested in listening to that in podcast form, please check out otrgold.com. It's been scrolling at the bottom of the screen the entire time, but it's just this landing page. You enter your email. I don't spam you, but then I send you an automated follow-up email that has a link to currently 68 podcasts, each focus on one particular old time radio program. So I have one for Dragnet, I have one for Gunsmoke, Suspense, CBS Radio Mystery Theater, Escape, Inner Sanctum Mysteries, and on and on and on. And you can listen to them in chronological order, just like this. You can binge it. Obviously, listen to those, but then still join us here because you don't have the chat on the side. And I love these comments from everyone. People are telling me Peggy Weber was Jack Webb played Friday's mother in this show, so that's especially interesting. Please, if anybody has a connection, let's get her on a stream and let's talk to her. Um, and apologies in advance for not knowing who she is. Let's see. Joshua, I love this idea. Would be a good way to resurrect the Behind the Mic series. Yeah. So Behind the Mic is it was my first attempt at original content. I was just trying to give the background behind old time radio shows, old time radio actors. Yeah, that was kind of around the time where I'm like, oh man, I could interview Angela Lansbury. If you go back and look at it, they like the content's interesting. The video, I have like the weirdest look on my face, and it's strange. Sometimes looking at stuff I did a while ago, um, I leave it up there, but I don't like to watch it very much, just because I think I'm awkward, and I'm sure I'm gonna feel the same way about this in the future. But we do it because that's what I'm passionate about. Favorite Disney Renaissance film? I think Aladdin is. I just love Aladdin. Aladdin was, as far as I understand, one of the first animated movies that used like celebrity name recognition heavily in their marketing. So they had Robin Williams. They had brought him on as the voice of the genie. And if you look at previous films, like I think The Little Mermaid came out before, they have a well-known voice actress, but she's not well known outside of like stage musicals and other things. I think it's Jodie Benson in that one. She's the actress that voices Ariel. But so then when they go to Aladdin, they have, all the other characters are voiced. The voices are great, but they're not anybody recognizable. But then you have Robin Williams, who was, just legendary even at the time, and they marketed it with like Robin Williams in Aladdin. And then since then that's kind of set the pattern for a lot of animated films. Is they heavily promote who the voice of the lead characters are. Like Jack Black is Kung Fu Panda. Charlton Heston, since we're talking about stuff in the past, Charlton Heston was actually the voice of the narrator in Hercules, which came out about that same time. And if you listen to the first track of that soundtrack, he does a great job. His voice is so great. But anyway, I think Aladdin's probably it. The music's great. You got Robin Williams. It's like got just an awesome thing as the genie. And then a lot of his lines were improvised. And he apparently they just like recorded hours and hours of stuff and picked what was child appropriate and relevant. But if you've seen any interview with Robin Williams, it's probably hard to keep him on track. So they just let the recording go, and he riffed until they had enough stuff for a movie. End ramble on that topic. Let's move on to the next one. Wally Meyer Jr. loves talking about his dad. So again, I don't know who this is or who his dad is. This is, as I've said before, I have an interest in old time radio. I am by no means an expert in any of this. So I love the comments, providing context, providing background. I need to go, I'll write this down. I need to look up who Wally Meyer Jr. is and who his dad is. And then if anybody has his contact information, please let him know. Cool. Keep going. I'm going to write this down. Wally Meyer Jr. Okay. I think this was a comment about Angela Lansbury. Rest in peace. Yes, she's great. Keltoid was talking about Peggy Weber. Did a ton of Dragnet episodes. Greg Bell probably has an in with some of the surviving radio performers. I'm going to write his name down. I don't know who he is. If you have an in with Greg Bell, please put us in touch. Looks like Alfredo the Tuxie and Spicy the Field Mouse are dropping. Thank you for being here. Thank you very much. See if you can get the guy who plays Harry Nile. Harry Nile. So I know that's a Jim French production. I actually have a story about Jim French. I'll save for another day. Well, okay, it's not really a super long, but I met Jim French. I ran into him. Our paths crossed at one point in our lives shortly before he died. I had no idea who he was until after he died. And then I learned about him and his work. And I thought, you got to be kidding me, because I had this interest. I just wasn't up to speed on modern day people doing audio only dramas. So for context, for those who don't know who Jim French is, Jim French was based in Seattle. He was a big fan of, as far as I can tell, big fan of like old time radio programs, so much so that he also started like modern day production. He called it like Jim French's Theater or something. And he created the character Harry Nile. And they had ongoing audio dramas, and I've heard really good things about him. I haven't got into them yet. I plan to. But yeah, he passed away, I think like 2018, something like shortly after. I think I first met him in 2017 or 2016, something like that. But yeah, after he passed away and I learned about what he did for work, I thought I was just kicking myself. Like that would have been perfect. He was just in my same circle, and I could have picked his brain and asked him all sorts of questions about working in radio for as long as he did. So I'm not going to let another one of those pass me by. Sirius XM Radio Classics. Okay, he's the guy from Sirius XM. I don't have a Sirius XM account, but I think there's like a dedicated OTR channel on Sirius XM as far as I know, and he's the host. Great. He's on Facebook. Wally Meyer. Did I write that down? Yeah, Wally Meyer. But okay, so I think Roscoe's saying the guy who played Harry Nile, he's probably still alive, because it wasn't Jim French. It was someone in his ensemble. Someone in the ensemble cast, I assume. That's a good point. Thank you for pointing that out. I'll try to see if I can get in touch with somebody. Peggy Weber. So over it says, I always loved Peggy Weber. She voiced so many characters and made many appearances on Dragnet TV episodes. That's also something I haven't watched a ton of. Like I probably I want to. I just what's the best source? I guess it's probably all over YouTube. Sorry for the background noise. Probably all over YouTube, these Dragnet TV series. But is there a good place to watch them like in sequence? Someone does a good job curating it. You could let me know. And then I think last comment will end on this one, because I think I'm caught up to the comments. Looks like Jim French also did Sherlock Holmes stories. So I'll have to check those out. And let me see. I think, sorry, there's something happening in the room right next to me. I need to mute it. Okay. I'm just going to give you the link to the Jim French stuff. Jim French. Is it Imagination Theater? Yeah, I think that's what it's called. Yeah, if you want to learn more about Jim French and the more modern audio dramas, look at the Wikipedia page for Imagination Theater. And then I'm trying to look up when Jim French passed away. Yeah, December 20th, 2017. And I probably met him earlier, 2017. Anyway, crazy. But thank you all for the comments. Thanks for telling me. Thanks for sharing your insight into old time radio. Thank you for being here. Thank you for subscribing. The community is growing. It's exciting to me. I just appreciate everybody and wish you all a great week, and hope to see you again on Wednesday. This is the longest stream we've done by far. Hopefully you found it fun, and hope to see you again